Hello everyone, and welcome to the Engineering Graphics CAD class. Today we're going to start with drawing block 1. So we'll get right to it. We're going to create an orthographic drawing, and I'm going to be using the grid lines as my guide. And if you don't have graphics paper, you can just use your triangles and ruler and do your drawing that way. If you have graph paper, it just makes it easier to keep everything correctly in line. So need to gonna start my line. I measured my block so I know how tall it is, so I can create my right now I'm creating the front view. This shouldn't take but a few minutes. And you're always going to create 3 views of your various blocks. You're going to create the front, which I'm working on presently. Then you're also going to need to create a top view and a side view. And all 3 of the views need to correctly line up. And that's where the graph paper becomes very useful. And we have to show when we're looking at our object, we have to show that there's things. So our block 1's front view will end up looking, once you have it drawn correctly, will end up looking like this. So there's our front view, and you want to keep it as accurate as you can dimensionally. So you make sure you measure your blocks correctly and then draw them correctly. So that's our front view. Now we're going to create our top view. Our top view is always going to go above our drawing. So being a little stubborn right now. So the top view, when we're drawing it, it needs to look like we're holding the block from the very top and looking down. So if you orient your block in that position, you're going to end up with something that looks very similar, or actually identical to what I'm creating here. If you have graph paper, the graph lines significantly make it easier to see visually. And then our third view, we have to create a right-sided view. Normally when you're creating an orthographic drawing, you'll create a 3 view in an L pattern, and it'll be front, top, right side. If you can't dimension everything that you need to show in those 3 views, then you'll have to create draw some of the other views, which are also A little bit complex, but not too bad. And for our third view, we're going to move over just a little bit because we got plenty of room. And we're going to draw our third view, which is going to look very similar to our front view, as I'm sure you've guessed by looking at the block by now. Sometimes it's hard to decide which should be the front view and which should be the top view, or sorry, which should be the side view, but you want your three views to convey as much information as possible. So you don't want to have to draw more than three views if not necessary, and most of the time you can get the information you need to in the three views, which greatly simplifies how much you have to draw. Drawing practice is good, but at the same time, if you time is money, so you don't necessarily want to draw any more than you need to. So that completes our drawing. Typically, besides just what we're putting on here, you're gonna put some text around. This one you would label as your front. This one you would label as your top. The one over here you would label as your right. And then you also want to mention whatever scale you're going to use. I drew this as a 1-to-1 scale, and that's what you should be doing with your hand drawings, is drawing this as a 1-to-1, and you need to put 1:1 to designate that it's a 1-to-1 drawing. And without the grid lines, your blocks will look like this. But notice that the bottoms line up. Each part is on the same line. Each part of each part. They're running on the same line this way. They're running, these lines are in line with these lines. These are in line with these. This one's in line with this. And so on and so forth from one side to the other. Everything is aligned. These are the ones that we will dimension later. We will be also drawing some isometrics after we get the first 5 correctly finished. So we'll see you in the next video.